Sometimes I blow my own mind. In fact, I blow my own mind a lot. So I've just got off the phone with PayPal. I sold something on eBay. It was a MacBook keyboard case, and I sold it to a person who bought it from France actually, and then I sent it to them, and they sent me an email a few days later saying it doesn't fit my keyboard, and I was like, well, what keyboard is it? And turns out they have an Italian keyboard. They live in France, and this is an English keyboard that they bought. And I was like, well, you bought an English keyboard, so what do you expect? I don't offer any returns on that stuff, so I just said, sorry, you bought the wrong thing. Feel free to sell it, but I'm not returning it. You bought the wrong thing. Sorry. Then I guess they didn't reply to that, and that for a good couple of weeks, and then I thought it was all done. No response. Turns out they'd sent a request to have their money back through PayPal, which is linked to my other email address that's not linked to my eBay account. So they're kind of separate. So I just didn't see the request. And then it was about 5 days before I went away to the Amazon. I went away to the Amazon for a month, came back and had like 50 messages on my phone from PayPal trying to get in contact with me over a negative balance on my account because they'd refunded this person. They'd opened a case, I hadn't responded, they refunded them the item, I didn't get the item back. So I was like, I don't really like that. I sent something that was the right thing to the person, which just didn't suit their usage, and then they wanted it returned. I said no, so they went to PayPal and refunded it, and because I didn't respond, they got their money back, and I don't have the thing. So I was out of pocket a couple of at least about 100 quid. Which I don't really like when people just steal money from me for no reason. So I tried to go on the case and appeal it, but because it's out of the 30-day notice period, you can't reopen it. So I ring up eBay and explain the situation. They can't do anything, so I have to ring up PayPal. So I ring up PayPal, go talk this whole thing out with one person. He's like, I don't have the whatever to do that. I don't have the authorization to change anything. You need to talk to our complaints team. But, there's nothing that they can do. And I was like, okay, cool, sure, whatever, blah, blah, just pass me on to the next person because I've done this so many times. And it is just a waiting game. You can get anything back from these people if you just are willing to play their stupid game. So, next thing comes along, next person is a nice Irish lady, and she's going through the rigmarole with the terms and conditions, and I'm out of the 30-day policy, blah, 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 all this rubbish, and spewing just verbal diarrhea out of their mouths that they have to, it's their job, and they're just a person on the phone, they're like another layer of the tower defense, and if you can get past them, you're inside the tower at least, but there's still loads of stuff in there that you have to defeat. So this woman got to this point where she was just, the Irish people on the phone are brilliant, actually. They stand their ground. They're like, no, I'm telling you, this is the way, and you don't know the rules. And I'm like, well, okay, cool. I'm dumb. You're great. Can I speak to someone else? So if you ask them long enough, they'll eventually tell you that you can't speak to anyone else and there is no one else. But if you just keep asking and keep asking and keep asking, they can't actually put the phone down on you and get rid of you because they'll lose their job, and it's part of their terms and conditions and whatever. They have to go through the process. So there's always a manager. There is always an email above the manager. There is always someone else until you get to the top, which you cannot talk to the directors of PayPal about a case. So there's always a layer above and below. So you just have to keep going. And I asked her I was like, okay, well, if you can't help me, I'd like to talk to your manager. And she was like, oh, that won't help you at all. He won't be able to do anything different than I'm able to do. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'd just like to talk to him then. They were like, well, it's not going to achieve anything, so we're not going to pass you over. I'd be like, well, I would really like to talk to your manager. And then you can start asking questions like, are you refusing to pass me to your supervisor? No, you're putting words in my mouth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he just won't be able to do anything. I'm like, okay, well, I'd like to talk to that person, please. And eventually they'll give in because they have to, and you get to talk to someone else. So this person then tells me, again, there's absolutely nothing they can do, blah, blah, blah. I just keep going over the same story of like how I'm entitled to this. This is my money. I have all the evidence I need to give this thing. If they can just reopen the case, then I can give all the evidence and then I'll win. But it just goes on forever. Eventually, she decides that she can now open the case. Something that was impossible and completely out of jurisdiction, they can now reopen the case. I'm like, brilliant, thank you. Reopen the case, and now I can upload all the documents that say the item was exactly how I want it, all the pictures of the item, the description, the screenshots. I could just go bloop, 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 upload them. So she opens the case, I go on there, the option is open again for me to do it, and I see all the upload thing, like put your files in, but I was busy, so I didn't do it that day, and I finally come to do it today. The screen's still open, I started uploading them, halfway through, the screen timed out, and then when I tried to click on it again, it was closed. So it had gone to the back office had closed the thing. So then I ring them up again, and I'm like, hi, so someone opened this case for me, go through the whole process again, no, we can't reopen cases. I'm like, well, someone's already done it, so surely you can do it again. If you can do it once, it can be done twice. And if it can't be, then I want to talk to whoever closed it officially. So you just go through this again. And this really nice bloke, Dario, what a legend, from PayPal, he swore blind. He went fully out of his jurisdiction in conversation with a customer in order to try and get me to just give up. He went, look, man, I'm not even talking for PayPal anymore. He's like, this is just me giving you some friendly advice. He was like, surely you've got something better to do on your day off. It's a nice sunny day. He was like, go spend some time with your girlfriend or your family or your kids or whoever. He was like, this is just not worth it. And I was like, the fact that you're telling me to stop is motivating me even more to fucking do this. He was like, trust me. He was like, this is the law of the UK. This isn't just PayPal's agreement. This is the 30-day period. You cannot get past it. And I was just like, you would not believe the shit that I have got through just persistence and fucking damn right, just like doing the right thing to get exactly what's rightfully yours. I was like, this isn't even for my ego, man. This isn't because I want to prove to you or PayPal or anyone. This is just because it's fucking right that I should have this. It's my thing. Someone took it from me without my permission and I want it back. And like, that is not me just being a dickhead. That is me being fucking just doing it in the name of fucking rightness. That's what I'm going to say. In correctness, whatever you want to call it. And man, it just made me so... I was just sitting there. I wasn't even mad. I was laughing down the phone to him and he was having a bit of a giggle. And he just keeps going on and on. He's like, look, man, you're just not going to do it. He's like, I'm telling you, Kieran, you're not going to get this. Like, it would be a complete waste of your time. I was like, okay, well, can I have the email then? A complaints email to your head office. I want to bring this up in a case. And he just went, he was just like, oh, what do you want it for? And I said, well, it doesn't really matter. I want to contact them. I want to send them an email. And he's like, oh, but I do need to know what it's for. I'm like, well, no, you don't, because that's like me like sending off an email to my doctor, but asking for the doctor, and then like the receptionist being, well, what's it about? Well, it's about my bleeding arsehole. Did you really want to know that? No, give me the fucking email and let me send the letter. So you just go through that. And I was like, he's like, but I'm telling you now, man, you won't get it. I was like, Dario, can you give me your personal email? And when I get what I want, I'll send you a picture of me with what I want in my hand, smiling at you. He's like, no, I can't give out my email. I was like, yes, and then you get wrapped up in the personal email thing. I'm like, right, let's track back to the other email. Are you refusing to give me the information for the head office of the company that you work for? And he's like, no, you're putting words in my mouth. I was like, okay then, well then I'll take it. He was like, well, if you really want that information, I'll give it to you. I was like, yes! I've been on the phone for 45 minutes asking for this shit. Give it to me. So eventually he's like, okay, I'm going to put the request in for the information, send it to your email. He was like, I'm just going to pop you on hold. And I'm sitting there just like maybe this is one I'm not going to get. I was like, no, fuck it. I'm going to carry on. I've never not won one of these because it's just a case of going through their system and getting what you want. And so it's like maybe 10 minutes I'm on hold and he comes back and he's like, he's got a change of tone this time. Comes back and he's like, Kieran. And I was like, yes, Dario, how are we, mate? And he's like, it pains me to say this. And I was like, oh no, what's happened? He was like, the money's all sorted. He's like, I was like, oh, something magic happened in it, and just all of a sudden it's all fixed. And he's like, yeah, he's like, some magic happened if you want to call it that. He was like, it pains me to see it. He's like, I can't believe I'm even having to say this. And I was like, don't worry, mate. Don't worry about your pride. That's not what I'm like attacking here. You've done your diligence and way beyond. I was like, but I'm a magical making man, and you're the little pixie that just fucking made it happen today. And I was like, so it all's good. And he was like, Kieran, mate. He was like, I don't really know what to say. He was like, but you could tell he was so hurt. Like, I know his manager had just gone, be like, just give him what he wants. And he's like, oh, fucking hell. I've just been so genuine to this bloke and been like, told him just don't do it. Man, you're not going to get it. And then like just being super personal and human. And then he's had his manager go, no, go tell him that you're going to give him it back. So he's had to be like, oh, fucking hell. Go on the phone and do it. So I just looked at him. Not looked at him. I went down the phone and I was just like grinning from ear to ear. And I was like, Dario, mate, you have an absolutely wonderful day, my friend. And do not worry about this whatsoever. I ain't judging you. I'm not doing anything. You did your job. And you did your job fine today, sir. And he just went, he was like he was genuinely hurt, I think, from having to do this. And I just went, Dario, just remember, you can get anything in this world with the power of your mind if you truly believe it. And he just kind of had a little giggle and he was like, have a good day, mate. And I just went, see ya! Just fucking cracked up laughing. So after all that, I was willing to just, it's not even frightening them. They just don't want to deal with someone like me. Like, they know I'm not going to stop. And if you take the email, they know eventually they're going to have to give you what they want because they're going to get bored of dealing with you. And if they ignore you, you can create a storm. Like if you go to a point where you're like talking to them and they're just like head office as high as you can go and they're just saying no. You just post all those emails on the internet and publicly shame them to get what you want. Not even in a horrible way. If you're not deserving of what you want, then you won't get it. But if it's actually yours and it's rightfully yours and you rightfully own it and it's right for you to have it back, then you will get it. And if you should kick up a storm. It's like robbery from like the fact that someone can just tap a button on the screen, take money out of my bank account and give it to someone else who just lied on a form and said, oh, this isn't what I wanted. Like, that's not fucking right. And that's what I kind of stand up for, and that's what motivates me. If I was trying to lie, I wouldn't bother, because eventually you get to a point where you get found out, and then you look like an idiot. And then that's what reinforces the walls to stop people from doing it. But when you actually want something, and you actually are genuine about getting it, and it's a genuine reason, then you should do anything in your power to get it back, because people don't, and that's why everyone just puts up with it. Is because we can't be bothered, because there's 20, I've had to call 5 different people and spend 3 hours doing this on my day off. But like, it's not because I've got nothing else to do. I could do anything more fun than this, but like, it's the principle. And it's like, I've been doing these over the years, and I'm going to create this whole collage of shit that's just, proving to people that you can actually just like go out and get that. People are like, oh, they said no, they took away my damage deposit and then they kicked me out of the house and then the landlord stole my keys and nicked all our bikes and sold them. And you're like, what the fuck are you dealing with that shit for? Take them down, motherfuckers! So, I don't know. I just had to record that rant because it was, honestly, I've never laughed so hard. I've never had such an instant manifestation of wonderfulness just happen in front of me instantaneously. I thought I'm going to have to send an email and do all this other shit that I didn't want to do. But I would have done it. And this is £100. Like, man, I don't have any money. I've got so much fucking debt. I don't really care about money. But, like, it's not even the amount or anything. It is purely the principle that people shouldn't be allowed to do that. And I ain't putting up with it for all of you. So, thanks, Jesus fucking mad Essex ranter man. Just go and destroy their systems down so that they don't feel like they can do it. Because every time someone like me does this, it shakes it a little bit and they go, oh, fuck. Like, people actually can get what they want from us. We're not invincible. And it just humanises the whole process again. Fucking rant over. brilliant day. Thanks, Dario from PayPal. You're a fucking legend, mate.